Hey guys, it's Ross, and today I want to talk to you about something real interesting, and I think you're going to be a little amazed by this video. This one's going to blow your mind a little bit. So what I'm looking at here, and what I want to talk to you guys about is a thing called SIPs, S-I-P, and SIPs stands for a sub-irrigated planter. So it's basically a container with a reservoir in it, is really a different way of putting it. And for those of you that's still not making any sense, essentially what this reservoir does is that it allows the plant in the container to have access to a lot of water and always have that reservoir handy to take moisture from when it needs it. It's a really interesting way of planting fruit trees or other plants in a container for many different reasons, mainly because if you live somewhere very dry and humid, or dry and hot, and you need to water your plants every day or 2 times a day, maybe even 3 times a day, this is really going to alleviate a lot of your watering problems. So in that situation, I would highly recommend them. A friend of mine gave me 4 of his SIPs today, and I want to show you guys the SIPs. And I want to talk about them a little bit, and then I want to show you guys, I think, what a better way to do a SIP is. So I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. But to give you guys a picture of what I'm looking at here, you know, this is the tree that I just pulled out of this container, this SIP here. And if you look in here, you can see the reservoir. So in order to see the reservoir, you have to pull the plant out. So you're welcome. It wasn't easy, but this is a 55-gallon drum, in case you're wondering. And inside here is a huge reservoir that can fill up gallons of water. I'm not exactly sure how much gallons can fit in this thing, but it's astounding, really. And what ends up happening is that the way you get water in there is by watering it through this PVC pipe. And this guy here actually has the PVC pipe, and it goes into the reservoir through this hole here. And then you have holes in the thing as well. And what he did is that he cut the top off of this barrel, this 55-gallon barrel, and then put that in there so that it fits real nice and snug. Put holes in this thing, and then also has a little area here so that the roots can kind of penetrate through this. Although you don't want any soil to get in the reservoir, you just want the reservoir to be water. So what he did was he actually put this potted this container here in this reservoir like this, and just had it sit. And then the tree was in this pot here, and everything, you know, in here. Basically, that's where all the soil was, and you can just imagine how easy it is for this thing to get as much water as it wants. And this pot, as an example, is just a crazy amount of water. So what you got here is just a pretty interesting system, really. It's a really nice way of doing it, but I personally am not going to be using this size for a SIP, because this plant right here is huge. It's massive. It's very heavy. And then when you add in, you know, gallons of water to this thing in a 55-gallon drum, it's just too big for me. It's too big. This is too big for any one human being. You need 2 strong men to move this thing, to lift it, just to lift it. So not really great in my mind. I guess the other downside would be just the amount of time it takes to create something like this. Some of these, especially if you're growing them in smaller containers, maybe like a 10-gallon size or like a 5-gallon size. This is normally what a lot of people grow them in here, is like a Home Depot or Lowe's style. Like this is like a painter's pot, a painter's bucket, I guess. And let's do this for sure. And what they do is they put the SIPs in these pots, and they grow like lots of peppers and lots of tomatoes in these things, because they constantly need water throughout the season. They really like the heat. Just lots of plants that really love the heat here, and they grow them in this thing with quite good success, and people do this over and over again. It's just that you get to the point where creating these sips is just a lot of effort and time that I don't have for the amount of containers I have. If you've seen any of my other videos, or this is the first video you're seeing, I have lots of containers. You know, I have like maybe somewhere in the 300 range of containers. So I have to really be thoughtful about what I choose to do with my time, because potting things up takes a lot of time, amending the soil takes a lot of time. You know, every little step I take for each pot adds up exponentially. So a friend of mine recommended to me this particular product that he created for creating sips like that. It takes 2 seconds. So what he does here is, you can look in here, this is the reservoir right in there. And this is one whole piece that he is manufacturing. He may even have some available, I'm pretty sure he does, but this is the prototype that he had sent me. And it's very, very interesting. So this is essentially just a smaller version of this, you know, that my friend took lots of time to build. And he did this in like 2 seconds. I mean, he gave me this and wanted to show me it, and the thing is incredible. I mean, it fits in this 5-gallon bucket that most people use for these things, really snug. And then there's that hole right there for that PVC pipe. And then there's also holes in the piece itself to let the roots escape through that, and then also suck up some moisture that way. Really just an interesting product. I'm quite proud of my friend for making this thing. I mean, what an interesting product. So if you guys want to buy some, I don't even know if he's selling it, but if he is, I'm going to contact him, and I'm going to put a link down in the description if you guys want to see about maybe getting some and trying them out for yourself. Like I said, just a real easy way of setting up a sip. You know, like I said, if you have tons of containers, going to the store, getting all those different pieces and then putting them together, it's just really time consuming. So yeah, anyway guys, that was all about sips. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. All right.